Hey everyone, good morning, good morning, good morning. First of all, I want to thank you guys for supporting me and the live streaming and the live spiritual life teachings. That's amazing, guys. I will be sharing this to my amazing followers and friends. I also want to thank everyone for coming out to my dad's celebration of his life. That is amazing. Um, Listen, it was a process. It really was. It was a lot of emotions, right? Uh, it was a ton of emotions, and but I know um, that God did what He needed to do in His service. We cried, we praised, we shouted. Um, yeah, but it was needed. We got a lot of hugs. We got a lot of friends and family saying, "I'm praying for you. I'm there for you," which is super amazing. So thank you guys for that. Definitely needed that. So guys, here we are, the Masters of the Dark Part Two. And to just give you a recap, Part One was talking about the scripture coming from Psalms, where Psalms 23, which was, "Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, Him, make me lie down in green pastures." Then David writes, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death," and God showed me, what if you stop? What if you don't walk through? What if you stop in the shadows? How does it look to live in the shadows? So we talked about living in the shadows, the dangers of living in the dark, the dangers of when everyone else is in light and you in the dark, and how we are not made and created physically to even see in the dark. We need an aid, and how we will have to create fire, and that fire creates tension, and it creates friction, and it creates a danger because if fire is not controlled, if fire gets out of control, it can burn and destroy things. And many times we're trying to deal with one issue and we create another issue. Excuse me, y'all, drop my mouse. We create another issue because of we trying to handle another issue. So it's like a chain reaction. And so many times we have chain reactions where we're trying to deal with our depression and we're trying to cope, but then we create another reaction. We create another problem trying to fix another problem. And so we have tried to adapt to dark places. We have tried to adapt to toxic relationships. We have tried to adapt to toxic jobs. We have tried to shift and adapt, and we have been shape shifting, trying to fit into boxes, into dark places that God never called us to live. And God never made us to live total dark. That's why if we ever have a total eclipse, the world will actually freeze and life will cease to exist. And we will have to evolve and morph into something else just to survive. And we have done that. We have morphed into different things that have not been pretty. We have morphed into different images and different ideas and different mindsets to try to survive toxic environments because we was born in the dark. We have been born in dark families. We have been born in dark situations. We have been born, and now we're in dark relationships. We're in dark jobs, and every area that we live in, we're in the shadows, and we're trying to adapt into a place that we wasn't meant and created and made to be in. And now we're here. How do you get free from the shadows? How do you get free from the dark? And so, first thing I want to talk about today is what is blocking your light. What is blocking your light is very important, because just saying you're in the dark, just saying that you're in the shadows, just saying that it's cold, just saying you're not getting your nutrients, just saying you're not getting your vitamin D, just saying that you're not getting things is one step. But another step is what is preventing the light, what is blocking the light. And so if you look at film, I had a film company called Zolly Studios, Zolly Custom Cinema, and then another film company called We Film, and we real film real TV. Sorry, We Film Real TV. And so these companies, we had to know how to manipulate light to get the type of shot we needed. So what does that mean? Sometimes we just throw light at it because it's more of a commercial look. It's more of just a bright look, and so we just throw light at it. But sometimes when you throw light at it, it can oversaturate it. So in film, what we do is called blocking. We block the light. How do we block the light? we use what we call flags. Flags, we can use different color flags, but if we use a black flag, it will completely block out that light. So were we trying to create shadows, or not even shadows, but we're just trying to block the light so there is no light. There's an absence of light so that we can control the shot that we want, the certain look that we want, because everything sometimes don't need to be bright. And so you have a black flag that will completely block the light, and we'll put it in a direction that we need to be blocked. And then you have things that dim the light. You have light dimmers or diffusers that diffuse and breaks up the light or dims the light. And so sometimes you around people that are dimming or blocking your light, and you think that you're cursed, or you think that God didn't want you to be in the light, or you think that God didn't want you to have blessings, and you think that God don't want you married, and you think that God doesn't want you to be happy. But what if the person, what if the trauma, what if your negative experience, what if your life experience is dimming or blocking your light, and you're not getting what God has been trying to give you? What if it's not that you curse? What if you're blessed? What if you have been predestined before the foundation of this earth? What if God has an intent to make you a millionaire? But what he's trying to give you, you can't receive it because there's something that is towering over you, blocking your light. And if you look at how do you block the light, you have to be able to make the thing that's blocking um, on the level of the light source, because the light source is higher, then the light will still go over what is blocking and still shine on the subject. So you have to make sure, you have to look at angles, and you have to look at how things are laid out on the stratosphere, because if something is above the light, it can block it. What does that mean? What are you allowing above God? What are you allowing above the light? If God is your light, if Jesus is the light of the world, if Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, what are you allowing to block your light? What are you allowing to be exalted higher than God? Is it your trauma? Yeah. Is it that person? Is it that relationship? Is it that toxic person? The toxic relationship that you're in, the job that is toxic, the church that's toxic? Please don't hurt me, y'all, but churches and pastors can be toxic also. What is it that you're allowing or esteeming higher than God that's blocking the light, and now you're in shadows? What if God never destined you to be in a dark place? What if God never destined for you to still be without financially, still be struggling, but it's the result of you allowing people or your trauma to exalt itself higher than God? And God cannot protect something that's higher than him, because God is a jealous God. Yeah, God is a jealous God. He can't protect something that's above him. He only can protect something that is subject to him, and is submitting unto God. And if you don't submit it unto God, he can't protect it. And if he can't protect it and cover it, now your light is being blocked by the very thing that you love, by the very person in relationship that you're in, by the trauma that you won't allow yourself to be healed from, by the childhood trauma that you won't allow yourself to be delivered from. It's blocking your light. And this is very important, because if you don't know what blocking your light, how can you get free if you don't know what's blocking your light? And so you have to understand the why. You have to understand what is in the way of the light. Because, yeah, God is the light of the world, but it also says that you can put your lamp cover over light and block your light. So what are you allowing to block God's light in your life? Because he's trying to give you some things. He's trying to change your world. He's trying to expand your territory. He's trying to give you the nutrients that you need. He's trying to give you the warmth that you need. And you wonder why life is cold. You wonder why you don't feel comfort. You wonder why you're dealing with depression and stress and night terrors. You wonder why you don't feel like life is going good for you, or that you're even comfortable or feel safe. And it's because something is towering over you. Something is your giant while you're living as a grasshopper. And what has happened is that your light has been blocked. And without light, man will die, because we need light. even been tied to our emotions. If you have someone in the dark, they will be more depressed and sad and confused. And you have been dealing with depression and sadness and confusion because you have been living a life without light. So what's blocking your light source today? So that's one important thing. Let me pick up my mouse. It fell, but I'm smooth with it. I wouldn't even know, but it is what it is. So yeah. So let me get this. I want to, and the reason why I'm doing this, I wrote some really important notes and I want to get to it. Okay, so you need to find out the why. What is blocking your light? We're going to talk about transparency. Why do I say that? If you've been in graphic designs, if you work in film, if you work in anything with light, you understand that if it's transparent, it doesn't block light. If it's transparent, the light can go through it. So one problem is you're allowing something to tower over you and blocking your light. But one other issue is that people that are around you in your life, if they're not transparent, they will also block your light. Because how can light pass through it if it's not transparent? What do I mean? Manipulators. What do I mean? People that don't have your best intent. What do I mean? Backbiters and backstabbers. What do I mean? People that will say one thing in your face and say something behind your back. What I mean? People that don't cover you and will allow you to fall flat on your face or push you under the bus. This is what I'm talking about. When you have people in your life that's not really for you, when you have people in your life that really don't care for you, when you have people in your life that are using you and just using it as a coping mechanism, then they lack the transparency that they need to have. And if they lack the transparency, God cannot change them and make them better because if they're not honest with who they are at that moment, then God can't help them and God can't set them free because they have to be honest. God doesn't force salvation on people. God doesn't force healing on people. And if you're not transparent with God and yourself, you can't get your healing. And you're around people that are broken, that are operating outside the will of God, that's not being who God called them to be, and they're not transparent and they're blocking your light. So what family, what friend, what person, what partner, what lover, what husband, what wife is in your life blocking the light, and you wonder why you in coldness and you wonder why life feels empty because you're around people that are not transparent. You're around manipulators, you're around backstabbers, you're around people that will pull you down before they build you up. And you wonder why life is hard and you thought you was cursed, but you're around people that's operating outside of the blessing and the will of God. And you feel the effect of a curse, even though you're not cursed. So we're here. We're here now. Transparency. One thing I want to break down is also to let you know that you're worthy of the light. The enemy will, because of your trauma, because of being bullied, because of your negative experiences, will make you feel like you're not worthy. Will make you feel like you don't deserve the lights, that you deserve the dark. You deserve people to look over you. That you deserve the shadows. You deserve people not to recognize you. You deserve people not to see your value. Think you deserve to be punished for the faults and the mistakes that you've made, for the hiccups that you have had. You think that you deserve this. You're falling on your sword. You're carrying your cross. You're crucifying yourself daily, thinking. And I'm not talking about the spiritual crucifixion that we go through when we have to crucify our flesh. I'm talking about crucifying your soul, crucifying your emotions, crucifying your mind. You putting yourself into a crucifixion type of pattern or of a mechanism because you feel like you need to punish yourself, even though Jesus had conquered death and went through the crucifixion and walked and living and rose again. You allow yourself to constantly be dying over and over again because you think this is your punishment and it will never be your redemption, because dying ain't what redeems you. Being born again is what redeems you. and you're dying and you're not being born again. Again, you're dying, but you're not being born again. And if you keep dying without being born again, you will never have redemption, because redemption, the power is not in the death, the power is in the rising. And we always preach about the crucifixion, how Jesus died. But if you don't preach about how Jesus rose, that's where he had conquered death. And everybody can conquer death. So it's a redemption power. And the power comes from not dying, but rising. And you have been dying. You have been living in the shadows, dying. And what is dark? The grave. What is dark? The graveyard. What is dark? The burial sites. What is dark? Being underground, and you underground and you can't see, and you're dying, but you're not rising. And I'm coming to encourage you. It's your time to rise. It's your time to walk in the light. You deserve the light. You deserve to have hope. You deserve to have peace. You deserve to have joy. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be out of depression. You deserve to be out of stress. You deserve to be out of suicidal thoughts. You deserve it. You deserve it, God. And I call you to live in the dark. And I call you to stay in the shadows. He did not call you to be a master of the dark. So we're here. We're here. And if you look at the text and how David has wrote the Psalms 23, you understand that David found his place of escape. Every time Saul would try to destroy him and kill him, every time Saul would try to conquer him and entrap him, he would find a place of escape. He wasn't fighting Saul, he was fighting the battles God called him to fight. And so if you find your place of escape out of the shadows, if you understand your adversary, then you can understand how to maneuver, because you understand the adversary's reach. David knew the adversary reach because he served Saul. He knew his tactics. He was in the military. He understood his tricks and how he moves and his acts of war. He understood how Saul moves because he studied his enemy. And when you understand what is blocking you, you understand what trauma is blocking you, because you're not afraid to face it. You're not afraid to study it. You're not afraid to understand it. You're not afraid to, you're not hiding from your trauma anymore. You're not hiding from the person that is tiring you anymore. You're not having a fear, allowing the person to invoke fear in you. You are standing up and seeing what it is, having the spirit of discernment, having an eyesight, having a vision to know the enemy and what the enemy is trying to do in your life. And once you understand the reach, you can know where you can go and you can find your place of escape, because you know where they are and you know where they can reach. And you're stuck in the shadows merely because you don't understand the reach and your enemy and your adversary, or the thing that's blocking in your light. But David understands Saul, and so David understands how to maneuver in spite of Saul attacks, because he understood Saul and his agenda. And so because of that, he was able to evade entrapment. He was able to escape. He was able to find a safe place, a haven, a place of escape. And God said that even in temptation, he would give you a place of escape. So David knows how to escape the adversary, and he doesn't stop moving. The reason why things are happening and your finances are where they are, and this might be the reason why you're dealing with what you're dealing with, because you stopped moving. David didn't stop moving. David said he walked through the valley of the shadow of death. He walked through. He didn't stop. What's killing your momentum? What's making you stop? What is making you fearful where you are? Because you have to realize, when you're in fight and flight, you have fight and flight and freeze. What is making you freeze? You ain't fighting, you ain't invading, you ain't moving around. What is making you freeze is fear. The fear, the fear, the fear, the fear. You're going to have faith destroy your fear. You're going to have faith conquer your fear, because of fear. He said, I fear not. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. You cannot fear evil. You cannot fear the thing that's opposite from live. You can't fear it anymore. You can't fear the thing that's opposite from life. You can't fear it anymore. You can't allow the fear of it to stop you from your success. You can't allow the fear of it to stop you from your light. You can't allow the fear of it to stop you from getting your degree. You can't allow the fear of it to stop you from getting married again. You can't allow the fear of it to stop you from walking in love again. You can't allow the fear of the thing that is towering over you to stop you from becoming a king, because David was going into his kingship, into his palace, and he can't allow the fear of death. He can't allow the fear of Saul to stop him from walking into his purpose. You have a purpose, and you have to push past your fear. You have to have the size of a mustard seed to move mountains. You're a mountain mover. Stop allowing mountains to block your light. You are a mountain mover. Stop allowing mountains of people and hatred and people that don't like you and people that talk about you and manipulate you and use you as a coping mechanism. Stop allowing people to block your light. You are a mountain mover. You are moving mountains. You worrying about your finances, and God called you to be a millionaire. And if you move your mountain, your finances will be better. If you move your mountain, you have peace. If you move your mountain, you have joy. You move your mountain, you have understanding and comprehension, and you can't comprehend because you're allowing something to block your vision. But baby, if you unblock your vision, if you walk into the light, you will have vision. And when you have vision, things will begin to happen. And when you have vision, your business will come together. When you have vision, you will open up monies that you didn't know was there. When you have vision, you're a visionary. You have ideas, you have inventions, you have concepts, you have agendas, you have ideas, business ideas. You have a new hairstyle that nobody else has created before. You have a new product that can change the industry, and it's in you. The only thing you have to do is move your mountain. The only thing you have to do is have vision. And this whole talk of masteries of the dark is about the lack of vision. Because if you don't have light, you can't see. And if you don't write the vision down and make a plan, then nobody will be running. And you haven't trapped yourself in a catch-22 because you have allowed fear to stop you. But today, speak to fear and tell them you're not scared of fear anymore. You're going to walk into the light. You're going to believe and know that you can get free from depression. You're going to believe and know that you can get free from stress. You're going to believe and know that you're worthy, that you're enough, that you deserve a degree, that you deserve to make the money that God called you to make. I encourage you today to walk in the light. I encourage you today that even in the darkness, that you understand that you are deserving and you have been destined to operate in the light. I pray that you don't adapt to the darkness and try to create fire, which creates tension and friction, and which can burn or destroy things that you didn't want to be destroyed. I hope you stop trying to adapt to people darkness, and I hope you don't stand and allow people to tower over you that's not transparent and are manipulators. I pray that you know you're worthy to live in the light, that you're made and created to live in the light. Guys, thank you for watching. I pray that you like and comment and share. I pray that we will have at least 500 views on this post. The last one had 40. The previous one has almost 100. I believe that this word needs to go to the world. I'm not trying to be overly religious because that's not the point. The point is to help people and love people. My goal is to build people, and the people will build the platform. So my hope is that you help me build, that you see and you feel and you have been changed by the word that has been spoken, and that you understand, hey, I need to join this movement. So like, comment, share, subscribe, so I can know that you're part of this movement of the Best You Clinic, because the best you is the true you. Guys, I speak blessings over you. Pray for me, pray for my family while we go through the transition of life without my father. But he's in our heart, he's in our memories, and he's in heaven looking down on us. So we love you. All right, bye.